Hi everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be creating another page in our magazine journal. So this next page we're going to be using the Die Cutting Essentials free gift from issue 78, and this is the Layering Petals die set. So this is going to be perfect for creating our next page. So let's get into today's video. Okay, so let's create our next page in our magazine journal. So this will be our fourth page in here. We're going to be using the Pretty Layering Petals again for this video. And what I've decided I want to do is to do some ink blending. So in our previous pages, so we've done a little stenciling with some texture paste here, but really we've just been kind of adding, but I want to do some more stuff actually on the sort of cardstock itself. So I've pulled out my Distress Ink colour blend swatches that I created in a previous video, and I'm going to pick a blend that I want to use for the background of this page. I do love this one here. So this is Peacock Feathers, Salty Ocean and Seedless Preserve, but I don't know if I want to go with something a little bit lighter than that. So let's have a little look. So I do think that this one is super beautiful. This was Crushed Olive, Twisted Citron and Broken China. That might be kind of cool. Or really, I do like this one. This is Wild Honey, Spiced Marmalade and Seedless Preserve. So it is kind of between the two of these. And I feel like this would kind of match in with this side, but I want to make it kind of different. So I think I'm going to go with this one here. Okay, so I've got my ink. So I've got Wild Honey, Spiced Marmalade and Seedless Preserve. I've got a piece of scrap cardstock here and just a little bit of purple tape. This will just stop us from going over onto the other page. Okay, so we're going to start off with our Spiced Marmalade in the middle, just so we can make sure that we get enough of that middle colour. Okay, so there is our really quick and simple background. So let's take off our just scrap. So there, it's nice just to have a little bit of contrast from one page to the next, but there is our background. So it looks a little sort of blotchy here on camera, but in actual fact in real life it's quite a smooth blend and quite a smooth transition. So of course we have our die. So like I said to you in my previous video, I lost the detailed die to this petal up here, which I'm really upset about. So we are just going to be using this one just down here. So what I'm thinking of doing is actually covering our background with these petals. So what I'm thinking about doing is creating our sort of center piece just here, and I'm going to actually use all three of those dies. They're all going to be layered up, so I think I'm going to have just the 6, and then I'm going to add some sort of around the outside, and they're just going to be a little bit more simple, but these ones I really want it to kind of stand out and be super beautiful. But first of all, just to make our background again a little bit more interesting, I'm going to add some splatters just with some water. So I've got my Ranger Mister and just a paper towel. I'm going to bring back this piece here just to stop it spreading onto our previous page. And I'm just literally going to do a couple of sprays. And then I'm going to use my paper towel just to kind of lift little bits of that colour. So if it does end up being too light and you want to, you know, you didn't want to take that much off, you could always just go back in then with your brushes and just sort of go back over those sections. We added the water in and we'll kind of darken it back up again. But that is that. So I'm going to leave that just to one side just to kind of dry off and just settle. So now we can get started actually die cutting our pieces. So in a previous video I did say that I think it would look really beautiful if all of these layers were die cut in white and then they were stacked together. I'm going to do that maybe for the other petals that we're going to have on our background, but for our kind of main center flower, I'm going to have these top two layers are going to be white, but I want this base one, I think I'm going to die cut this from some gold Miri card, and I think that's going to be really nice and warm then with our background colors. So I've got my dies, I've got my cardstock, and I've got some washi tape, so I am just going to go ahead and die cut all of the pieces I need to create our project today. Okay, so I've die cut a whole bunch of these. So I do have just 6 of these gold Miri cards for the very back, and then just a whole bunch of these other ones. And then, so we're gonna build just the first 6 because we really need to get those in place to begin with. So exactly the same as what I've done with all the other petals that I've assembled over the last few days. I'm just gonna use my dotty tape pen. So you can see that I've die cut both of these front ones from white, and then you can still see quite a bit of that background. That's why I've then die cut those from gold, so you'll be able to kind of see through it. But all the others, you'll be able to kind of see that really beautiful background that we have created. So that is going to be kind of our look, and I just think that's super elegant just with that white detailing. Okay, so here we have our 6 petals that have got that gold background, and I've got 4 at the moment that are just plain. So I might need to die cut just a few more of these, but let's just take a look at these petals with our background. So let's just bring this back in. So what I really want is to have these with a gap in between as well, sort of just in the middle here. Okay, so let's start to get these ones into place. So once we put our first petal down, we want it to be kind of as central as possible. Then we can kind of just build up around this one. There we have our sort of main flower for the background. Okay, so I've also just die cut that smallest circle as well. So let's just add a little bit of adhesive to attach that there. And we can pop that in the center. And then just like we have on our cards. You can just lift these up. And I'm thinking I might just add these actually into the corner since we do have 4 of them. And it is quite stark, obviously, because you've got that white on there. But I actually really love how that looks, being able to see the colour kind of through these. So you can really see kind of how big these petals are and how big the flowers create, because like I said at the beginning, I was hoping to then create kind of half of these, maybe on both corners, but you can really see kind of how big these actually are, because I haven't quite got the room to be able to do that. So we've got that really stark white against that coloured background, but I actually really love how that looks. It's just something quite nice and bold about it, but I do really love the white with just that hint of gold in that background. What I'm also going to do, just to add a little bit of colour into this, is I'm going to bring in some Nouveau drops. So here we have Violet Galaxy and Dandelion Yellow, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these just kind of in these die cuts, and then just in some of these spaces. So I'm just going to follow that design as much as possible. So for this, the centre one here, and then that back little dot there. Let's just turn this around. Again, let's just fill in that one there. So we have got the yellow there, and then let's just add in a few drops of this purple. So we're going to do this tiny dot here, and then I think we'll just fill those two there. You don't have to use Nouveau drops just to create dots on your projects. You can then kind of create different shapes with them as well. So what I'm going to do is just sort of tap my book just to help sort of level those out. But again, it's just, like I said, a different way of sort of using your embellishments. So I'm not going to add these to the centerpiece. I'm literally just going to have those on the outside. And then that is going to be it for our page today. So you notice I've not popped the sentiment onto here. So with the die cutting essentials, you don't always kind of get sentiments and things with it. And like I said in previous videos, I want to try and just kind of use the gifts that actually come to the dies and the stamps that come included in the set, but I'm really happy just to leave this as it is. I think it looks great. You don't necessarily need to have a sentiment. So what I really love about this journal is this is going to be an absolute treasure trove of different creative ideas. If you are stuck for ideas, if you've got a particular stamp set and you don't really know how to use it, we can go back through this journal and go, oh, okay, so we did a little bit of paper piecing with that might work with this particular stamp set. We've got this die, no idea what to do with it. We could just do some ink blending and just die cut it. Equally with this, we can just create a really beautiful blended background and just simply die cut from white. I still think that looks really effective. So this is going to be really an invaluable tool within our crafting space. Like I said, just to have it full of ideas of different ways to use stamps, dies, embossing folders, stencils, whatever it might be. This is going to be brilliant. So like I said, that's it for this video. If you did enjoy it, please give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so you don't miss out on any future videos. So that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching and happy crafting.